Now you did mention cover songs, and we're both in Texas. I have a couple of questions about Texas not being country, fully country. You do have country vibes, but I guess the first
Right.
question before we get into cover songs, as an indie artist from the state of Texas, do you feel like it's been difficult getting noticed in a genre that isn't country music?
Very much so. Very much so. I've ran into many roadblocks in my career in the beginning. And also in the beginning, I started out playing in honky tonks.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was my first few venues that I ever went to. And so, I had my like 5 or 6 songs that I was like, okay, I know they're gonna like this. And then I don't know where I'm going from there. I'm just gonna figure it out as I go.
Read the
And
room.
every time I walk in, yeah, every time I walk in, of course they're like, hey, we don't do rap music around here. I said, oh, I'm not here to rap. I said I'm here to do some down home disco red dirt country stuff. And then and so then I'm like, we're gonna have a good time. Let's just have a good time, regardless, because you say it's a honky tonk and you only like country, but if I do Baby Got Back, you gonna be all right. I promise.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so we're talking about cover songs. I love that answer because the choice of cover songs is so important to an original artist. And people don't realize that, I feel, because there's so much pushback and so much division between I don't want to say division. I don't know what the right word is, but there's a lot of cover artists out there. And then there's a lot of original artists out there. And then there's a lot of people in the middle that do both. But here in Texas, especially in East Texas, the cover band kind of rules the frickin' world around here. So, as somebody who
Right.
has originals and really good originals, also, how do you formulate a strat? Do you, let's put it this way, do you formulate a strategy with your cover songs to try to get people to listen more closely to your originals when you do play them?
Um, Not really. Like when I'm at a show, I'm like, you know what? I think this is gonna feel good. If I play this right here, I think they're gonna like this one. Or I'm getting to the point where I'm like, hey man, I feel it anyway. So if I feel it and I'm having a good time, that's gonna spew out into the crowd and they're gonna feel it too. So when it comes to, okay, I'm playing this cover, they're like, oh yeah, they love it. They love it. It sounded good. All right, cool. We're having good time. And so I'll find an original that I wrote that almost fits like right in that pocket of that cover. And
Mm-hmm.
I either do that or I go completely to the right, to the left. I
Mm-hmm.
just like, you know what? Forget it. You're gonna listen to a song I wrote. And I'm not gonna tell you I wrote it because then if I tell you I wrote it, I done ruined the mood
Mm-hmm. And how much
somehow.
how
I
much
don't get that.
originality are you putting into the covers you choose? Because I've noticed that about original artists too. I mean, you're not a jukebox, right? So like, I imagine
Yeah.
you're putting the Zak Webb spin on "Baby Got Back," right? So like,
Mhm.
how are you implementing your originality into the covers?
Man, it's funny because like a lot of people like our one of our favorite covers that we used to do was Benny and the Jets. And so everybody loved it. And it was one of those things where it's like I only learned how to play it. I only played it the way it was, made it so original because I didn't know how to play the chords of the original song when I first started learning it. And so I was like, oh well, you know what? It sounds good right here. We're gonna keep it right here, keep it nice and simple. And then, another thing that we do is we usually merge songs, we make medleys out of them. And the way that started, once again, I just didn't know how to play the whole song. So I was like, you know what? What other song would fit right there? We'll see, and we'll try something else. And so, everything just kind of grew on itself organically in front of people. And then they like it because it was more so of I'm formulating this song for you to enjoy. I'm not sitting at home and I'm like, you know what? I think they're gonna like. I'm in the moment when I make the song.
Yeah, it's so smart. I'm glad that you see it that way too. I kind of figured you would, and I lined up these questions in a way that I thought you would answer them a certain way, and just based on what I've read about you, what I know about you, and researching and stuff. Again, still talking about audiences here, and we talked about joy earlier, and I really want to talk about that right now. I've never seen you live,
Mhm.
like I said, but I've seen lots of videos of you performing. I follow your social media, and you obviously have incredible joy for what you do. And so, having lost your parents at such an early age, I'm curious where that joy comes from because a lot of folks could go the other way, right? So, where does that come from? Is it just that incredible passion for music, or
It might be. I never really thought about that before. I've always been a smiley type of person. At first, it was a defense mechanism because I didn't want people to see what I was going through. But, they talk about it even scientifically. When you smile, even if you fake it, your body starts to realize, oh, well, I got a couple of things I could be happy about, and I think what it is that I've been through so much, man. It's like I've slept in cars, I've been in houses that didn't have lights, water, had to figure out and fight to move and I'm like I'm living all right.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta hey, you get your butt inside. I got it, I have things to be happy for. I got my wife, I got my family, I got, this career because, not everybody has a wife, family, and career,
Mm-hmm.
so I have to count my blessings. And there's a quote from one of Kirk Franklin's songs. It's like, I don't want to be just happy because then I have to have something to be happy about. I want to be joyful because nobody can take my joy away, regardless of what's going on around me. And so I've never felt like, man, I just can't be joyous right now. I can not be happy. I'll be like, man, this kind of sucks. But as for like, I got joy. You can't stop the smile. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you make me giggle at the end of the day, and I'll be all right.
So is that something you mentally reach for if you're having a bad day? Just like, man, you know what? This is silly. I've got stuff here. Like, do you have a go-to? Like, like we all have our struggles, we all have our worries and stresses and stuff like that. But like for you to still keep that smile on your face, that's incredibly hard. I mean, it's incredibly hard to do
Yeah,
that. So is there a go-to for you?
man. I just think about my mom mostly. I think about my mom because, my mom muscled through the game. She went through a lot. And so she smiled through it. And it wasn't like a fake smile. It was like, hey, we are getting through it. We're not sitting here, you know, broken and in shambles at home and trying to fake a smile in front of people. We'll tell you, hey, we're going through it, but the sun's shining.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough. It's tough, but we're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right in the morning. We've been through harder things than we're going through right now. And that's how I feel every day. Any day that I have a bad day, I'm like, you know what? I've been through harder things at age 16 than I am right now. Right now I'm stronger. I'm healthier. And so this little misstep that's happening right now can't, fully take away the
Yeah.
joy that I got going on.
So it's just a testament to you seeing somebody else struggle with something far worse than you feel like you're going through right now and seeing how she reacted to those struggles in such a positive way. That's your go to because then when something goes wrong, it's like, you know what, my mama went through much worse than this and she smiled through all of it. So I can, by God, do
Hmm.
the same thing, right? I mean, that's where you're going, right?
Yeah.
Man, that's quite a
Yeah.
testament to her memory, man. Kudos on that, honestly. That's really cool stuff.